a young priest who grew up in the faith in the Philippines, later went on to become a bishop and ultimately a cardinal. We celebrate the giftedness of this faith. We must keep sharing it as a gift, my dear brothers and sisters. We thank our God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, the God who is love, for gathering us as a family of faith. Being a cardinal means living an exemplary life, a standard Luis Tagle has upheld admirably. His actions and lifestyle have become a beacon of hope, inspiring people as he guides them toward God's light. However, cardinals are held to higher standards than most, and even a minor misstep can spark significant controversy, something Luis Tagle may not be immune to. What could he have done? Or what could have possibly happened to the man of God? Join us as we explore how Luis Tagle drops a holy bombshell and shocks everyone. Music, especially for Filipinos, is a way of communicating with God and with neighbors. According to Cardinal Tagle, it is the Filipino way of coping with life. He expressed how the deep things in life are better expressed through melodies, through humming, rather than just through words. Tagle emphasized that when communities gather, especially during sad moments, one can clearly see that music plays a role in lifting the spirits of people. He was particularly pleased that, in the seminary, music was already nurtured as an evangelizing and pastoral tool. He does not share this love for music alone, but shares it with one of his most important friends in life, Father Jim. Father Jim, as he was called at the time they shared their time together at the seminary, was the choir director of the seminary choir. Especially during big events in the seminary, the philosophy seminarians and the theology seminarians would come together to form one big choir. Jim would teach them and conduct the choir. Tagle notes that Jim was a joy to watch because they didn't know whether he was conducting or dancing. He made music practice quite enjoyable and tolerable for the rest of them. Of course, they did not tell him the sentiment they shared about him at the time. Jim's time as choir director was fun because some choir directors who followed him were quite stern, but he made it fun for them. In his philosophy department, they also had their own singing group because they lived in a separate building which was called the Annex. It was an annex to the main building. They even went as far as naming their group, calling themselves Unexpected. Father Jim would always call them with a twang in his accent, the Unexpected. Luis Tagle's life as a priest means that he is always on the road whenever he is called upon. How have his travels fared so far? 4 nations in 2 continents, for a total of almost 40,000 kilometers to cover. The papal plane took off from Fiumicino Airport on September 2nd, and Pope Francis began the longest and most demanding apostolic visit, suspended between Asia and Oceania. But the Bishop of Rome isn't leaving his diocese to break records. Luis Tagle, the Pope's cardinal, suggested that the sojourn was an act of humility before the Lord who called them. It was an act of obedience to the mission. As the journey that took Pope Francis to Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, East Timor and Singapore nears, the pro-prefect of the Dicastery for Evangelization, the section for First Evangelization, and the new particular churches, explained why this journey among the churches of smaller flocks is important for the whole church universally. It can also affect all